Welcome to the Muxall Open IoT channel. I am your host, Michael Crane.
Okay, I'm not really sure how to start this video, so let me give you a bit of background here. So this is a story or video of one of my customers that has one of these Z-Grills 6000, Z-Grills L6002 or 6002B or 6002B, and that has this direct searing feature, if you will. And this thing is in the drip pan, right? He was lucky enough, and everyone's gonna know who this is, so I'm just gonna say his name's Bob. So he won this controller off the Z-Grills Nation Facebook group, and they're a big supporter of Muxall, and they raffled this thing off, and he won it. And he thought this was going to be the controller of his dreams, because this is what it comes stock with, right? And yeah, it was a controller of his dreams, all right. His nightmares. So Bob gets this thing, and this is the first controller we put in this in a 6002 or whatever model it says. They call it a 600 series grill, so I'm going to call it a 600 series grill. Okay. Yeah, Bob gets this thing, and we start getting these graphs from Bob. And graph one, overshoot. You can see it's running high. We got spikes everywhere, and this one's gone well above 600 degrees. And I'm getting a little bit concerned. I'm telling them try different cooking methods. And we start working on it, but we're still getting these spikes, and see these spikes and everything. I'm telling them, I'm like, something is wrong with where your meat probe is. Or, I'm sorry, your chamber probe. So we start working on it. Here's where his chamber probe is, the searing feature. This little thing right here. And I'm saying, yeah, we're getting this temperature probe's just getting smoked by all the heat coming off from underneath this drip pan. So we start messing with it, and he finally, I think, I'm telling him, plug the hole, do this. I'm saying, yeah, it should be smooth like this and not jaggedy and that sort of thing. And we mess with it, and I'm not sure what that one was. That looks like an error of some sort. But you can see it's getting better, right? Okay, here's one of his test graphs. And then you can see it's getting better. You can see, okay, well, it's still swinging quite a bit, and we still got some jaggedy, temp swings in there. They shouldn't be jaggedy like that, but more or less it looks okay, right? This looks nice and smooth right there. And things go along okay. We're still kind of looking at, this is his, I think he moved he was trying to move another temperature probe around to see where best place to put the chamber probe, because I'm telling him that something's wrong with having that chamber probe there. But this is looking pretty good. This is at 250, it looks like. All right. So things are moving along, and he's cooking stuff, and everything looks pretty good. And then this happens. Yes, this is not good. So you can see the cook started out, it was set to 225. So anyway, but this thing is swinging like crazy. I mean, this is swinging from 300 degrees down to 175 degrees. This is bad. This is the controller not able to keep control of your barbecue grill. If you ever run across something like this while you're cooking, you need to stop and figure out what's wrong with your your barbecue, right? Or if there's something wrong with the controller, either one. But he's been using the controller, everything works good, and then all of a sudden we go from, you can see these are kind of pointed little spikes, right? So we dip down to below, almost, looks like it almost flames out, and then it just skyrockets past 500 degrees. And as soon as it did that, it probably smoked his chamber probe, because at that point it sank below zero, which is impossible since it wasn't below zero outside when he was cooking. And then of course it skyrocketed up to 600. At this point the controller has no clue what's going on because the chamber probe's fried. And so so what happens when that happens is you get this. Now Bob says he thinks it was that the fire started inside here because of the grease. There was grease built up on this drip pan right here from a brisket he had cooked, and he thinks it caught on fire and smoked all this. But I was a little bit concerned with this. These grills, this is a pellet hopper fire, and these grills are designed not to do this. So I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, I see the snow on the ground. Maybe it was below zero outside. Who knows? Anyway, it's not a laughing matter. This was very sad. Bob is this poor guy has got a new grill and has had a lot of problems. Something is awry, right? The controller shouldn't run like this. This is bad. If you see swings like this, you need to stop the cook, because the controller isn't able to keep control of what's going on. The controller does not normally run like this. So Bob, and I'm sorry I didn't get a picture. He fixed and painted his grill, and I didn't take one of those pictures. But anyway, so after he fixed and painted his grill and got everything all fixed up and everything, he posted this. And at this point, I'm like, okay, you got to send me the controller, because this is horrendous. We still have the 300-degree swings. The 100-degree swings. See where it drops to zero right down here? You can see it spikes, and it's just all over the shop. Things are really bad. So Bob sent in his controller, and I really do feel for Bob. I mean, this poor guy has been through it, right? So talk about being taken out of the frying pan and thrown into the fire. I mean, he really has. Anyway, so we're going to step over to the bench now. Bob sent me his controller and everything else, and we're going to take a look at this stuff. Okay, so sorry, I'm using the camera on my microscope here because we want to look at the board closely. But yeah, so it's really zoomed in. Anyway, here's Bob's controller. We're going to take a look at it here in a second. He sent me his antenna. I told him to send me everything. So he sent me his Wi-Fi antenna. He also sent me the probe that was used during the fire, or when the fire happened. A brand new probe. He was nice enough to say it wasn't used. And oops. And this is the one that was showing all the spikes that I showed you recently. Okay. So first things first, I'm sure the Wi-Fi antenna is probably okay, but we were going to use it. Actually, I kind of lost it. I walked over there and got my eyeballs, and yeah, that looks a bit cut right there. Anyway, I'll send them a new one when I send it back. So, yeah. Yeah, it looks, it's got a couple little cuts in it. Anyway, like I said, I'll send him a new one. So, yeah, let's look at this controller. I mean, we could look at the probe, but I don't really care about the probe right now. I wanted to see if this controller had been smoked. And let's see here. Let me zoom you guys in here. All right, so we're looking at the
This is the high voltage board, and I don't see anything too bad on it. Anyway, continue to look at this guy. Oh, yeah, that was just some dirt down there, by the way. I kind of pulled it off. It's hard. I'm looking through the screen of the camera here, and it's hard to get a detailed look. I have to look through the microscope to really get down in there and look. But yeah, I looked around. It looks okay. I don't see anything. He said it looked okay. And, so, you know, I believe him. When I saw that last graph, I was like, okay, well, we need to look at this thing and see what's going on. So, yeah, it looks okay. Well, I don't see anything, so I guess, we're going to step outside and let's install this thing. I'm going to use everything. I'm not even going to blow the dust off this. I'm going to install it in the grill and use the old antenna, and we're going to fire this baby up and see what happens. You know, see if we can reproduce it, because I am very curious to see. What is that? What's going on with this thing? I mean, that was a bit disturbing, wasn't it? So anyway, let's get this thing installed, okay? Okay, so we got Bob's controller installed here, and my grill. This is my Traeger grill, and I am using his antenna, and everything should be all hooked up and everything. Go ahead and power it on. Let's see, he's running version 5.15. Okay. So, yeah, I was thinking I probably want to go ahead and and get the web app pulled up. So, go ahead and turn the panel light on here. So that means I'm going to have to change the password. I won't show you Bob's password, but it's going to take me a few minutes to change the Wi-Fi password and everything. So to log into my Wi-Fi. So give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. Well, I got it plugged in, but I think it's pulling up that IP address of 172.16.026. That's not part of my network. I'm guessing it's part of Bob's. And I don't remember. I think it'll say DHCP right here. Maybe not. So maybe he has a static IP address plugged into that thing. I don't know. It's very curious. So anyway, I can undo it, but I have to go into the debug port and basically wipe it out. I don't want to do that because I want to see if this thing's going to do something. So we're going to be SOL when it comes to the graph, which is unfortunate, but we should be able to see it, you know, going crazy just by watching the temperatures, because as you can tell, it was going crazy. But anyway, let's just fire this thing up and see what happens, okay? Alright, I'm going to set it to 225, my favorite test temperature. If you're ever testing this thing, 225 is a sweet spot for this controller. And let's see, I guess that's about it. Alright. So, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and watch it. And I will check back in with you guys here in a minute. Well, like is always the case, they usually run pretty good when I have them. I was inside doing some stuff in the lab, and I came out, and this thing has been just hovering around 225. Now, of course, I don't have a graph to show anyone. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can stand my phone up or something and let him watch it for a while. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm guessing it's probably going to run just fine. They usually do when they come into the shop. Okay, so this is going to be a bit how you doing setup. I think I figured out a way to graph it, maybe. I'm going to use this as an old V3 I was using for the pellet hopper vibrator testing. And I'm going to go ahead and plug a meat probe into it. And I went to open up, this thing, and I noticed there was a pan of water still in there. And that explains why the temperature is probably so stable. I was using this the last time I was cooking. I wanted to show you guys, so, oops. So people didn't think I was trying to cheat or anything. I know no one thinks that. But, so I was telling, I think Bob or somebody, if you want to, I've told a couple people this, I guess, if you want to check how your barbecue is running, in the middle of it, you want.
Okie dokie, so I went ahead and pulled up a web browser here. Let's see, it was 192.168.1.211. I was going to say it's using internal Wi-Fi, but it's not even in a barbecue. So, yeah, so probe 1 is showing a temperature of 95 degrees. Yeah, it's just, I forgot it. The cup has to kind of get hot. It's got to catch up. It'll catch up in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and set this. This is going to be silly, but that's 225. So I set it 225. So we're waiting for this purple line to kind of, it should get near to 225. It's probably not going to be right on that. If you remember my chamber probe, it's pretty high up into the top. It's in the can. It's on the left side. And this thing is in a coffee cup upside down with a probe upside down in the middle of the grill. So I'm guessing it's, I don't know what it's going to be. We'll just find out.
Okay, for the sake of time, I think I'm just going to move this guy over here. Oop, that's kind of warm. Anyway, I took him out of the coffee cup. I put him in here. Okay, it's not going to read the same because, you know, the tip is down here and the tip of this one is up here. But this coffee cup's going to slow it down. It's taking too long and it's getting dark out here. So,
all right. Well, looks like this thing is about topped out at not quite 225. Yeah, so it has a probe upside down in the can. And I'm guessing, I bet you if we go out there now, I bet you the temperatures are getting closer. And I guess we can go check that real quick.
yeah, all right, so this guy is showing about 211. And this guy is showing 209. So yeah, they are syncing up. I mean, the chamber probe, this one's going to increase faster than the other one because the tip of it's outside of the can. This one's kind of got a lag behind, but yeah, they're pretty close. Good enough for us to tell what's going on, and as you can tell, it's definitely not going crazy. All right, sorry about the glare. It's morning time. I decided to go ahead and do this testing some more. I went ahead and moved the probe next to the chamber probe so we can see what the controller is kind of saying. It's not going to be exact, but it'll be close enough. So you can see it's about 231, and I was pretty surprised to look at this guy. He's at 309 degrees. Yeah, that's a bit hotter. looks like it's kind of moved around on me a little bit. Man, this guy's gonna be hot. Well, anyway, yeah, you can see the difference between this being inside that can and not inside the can, huh? But yeah, we're gonna let it run. We actually might get more spikes since that probe is not, you know, inside the can anymore. I might even be able to show you the spikes that maybe we can reproduce the spikes that Bob was saying by moving this probe in and out of in harm's way of the flame in certain areas of the grill. But yeah. So yeah, we were just out looking at the grill, and I was looking at this. Isn't this interesting? So I was sitting there and I saw it was, remember, it was 309, so it's probably right there. We opened the grill up and I kind of moved that probe around a little bit, and you can see it didn't jump right back up into the 300 range. It's a bit lower. So yeah, I think we'll be able to reproduce some of the spikes Bob was saying just by moving that probe around in there. So yeah, we'll try that here in a little bit. Okay, so this thing has been chugging along. It looks like it's smoothed out quite a bit, actually. It's running about 25 to 30 degrees over what it's set at, but you know, you have to remember this is that that meat probe that's on the other controller. This isn't the actual controller temperature. We'll go out there and take a look at it. But as you can see, it's smoothed out quite a bit. That's pretty nice. All right, well, as you can see, it's a little under 225 right now, but it's hovering right in there. This guy's showing about 25 degrees higher. Sorry, got a bunch of sun out in here. There we go. It's showing about 25 degrees higher, which is matching up with the graph. So yeah, everything looks hunky-dory. So now what I think I'll do is I'm going to try to move that meat probe. Let me go get some gloves. I'll be right back. If I can move this guy somewhere where it'll look more like what Bob is seeing. Okay, so that's at the back of the grill. My burn pot's actually over here. Maybe I don't want to smoke this thing too much, but I just want to see if we can replicate, I don't know, maybe right there. That looks like a nice warm spot for it. I want to see if we can replicate the jagged lines, right? So we'll give that a shot and see if we can get some. Ah, yeah, see, we moved it. Look at that. I got our first. It's not quite as sharp as what Bob was saying, but yeah, hopefully I have to be careful. I don't want to smoke my meat probe. But yeah, see, this is a nice, this is very similar. Let me see if I can get one of his pictures here. This is the day of the fire, and this is what the graph was looking like, and yeah, that looks strangely familiar. We'll let it run for a little bit. What I'm trying to do is reproduce this to kind of show that it's the problem of the placement of the chamber probe that's causing this problem. It's not the controller, it's not the grill, it's that chamber probe is in a very bad spot. Anyway, that's my theory, and I'm going to see if we can move that meat probe around from that other controller to replicate this right here. And let me tell you, the controller has a real hard time, I mean, trying to control the grill temp when it's swinging crazily like that. Okay, so does this look familiar? I happened to, I stepped away for lunch, and I forget where I left you guys. I think it was coming down off this peak right here, and or maybe it was this peak right here, and I had moved the the probe
right into the corner where I knew there was a lot of heat, and you can see it kind of spiked up to 450, and I was getting a little worried it was going to hit 500, but I saw it drop down and it was kind of bouncing around, so I was okay with it until I don't know what happened, but it looked identical. Now this isn't on, you have to remember, this isn't on Bob's controller. This is just a controller that's monitoring what's going on, right? And doesn't have any control over the grill. The grill's just plugging away. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it. I wanted to get some big swings out of it because the controller is operating this, and so it's trying to compensate for these big swings, which is probably making it swing bigger. And we weren't getting a lot of big swings out of it. So I turned the Bob's controller on max smoke so it'd swing more, and then I went to lunch. And it looks almost almost identical, but look, it's got a big swing here, and then a little swing, and a bigger swing, and so we got a big swing here, and then a little swing, and a big swing, and then it starts going up, and then it's got another little swing, an intermediate swing, and then a big swing, kind of like right here, and then all of a sudden it dips, doesn't go into the negatives, and then it shoots to the moon, which is exactly what happened here. I'm guessing this probe probably started failing somewhere in here and just died. Yeah, that's not good. Anyway, so I would say we reproduced that pretty well. And of course, the barbecue was still chugging along. I just turned it off a minute ago. I guess I should have got my phone out and showed you the temperature. It was hovering around 225. I'm guessing when it did this swing right here, maybe the grill actually did have a poof of pellets or something. You've seen them every now and then. Every once in a while, it'll be plugging along. All of a sudden, it'll hit. It was set on 225, and it probably jumped up to 275 or something like that. And of course, when the chamber hit 275, this went all the way up to almost 500 degrees, and then. Yeah, this is so then, of course, Bob's controller said, okay, well, that's too high. I'm going to idle down. Then this just dropped way down. And like I said, you need to remember, this is confusing. I know it is, but you need to remember, this guy is not controlling the grill. Bob's controller is. This is just something that's monitoring what's going on, right? And if I had like an ink burner or something, that probably would have been a little better to monitor it with, because then we could look at two different graphs. Anyway, our goal was to reproduce what Bob did, and I would say we accomplished that goal. And that proves, hands down, that it's the location of the probe. That's the problem in that grill. It has got to be moved. That is the whole point of this. So I'm going to reflash Bob's controller. I'm going to test it for several hours, make sure it's all happy, and I'm going to ship it back to Bob and tell him to move his chamber probe. So anyway, I'll post the results of Bob's test just so everyone can see it run. We know it runs good because right here this was on medium smoke with the probe right next to the chamber probe. This is the meat probe that's next to the chamber probe. You can see it was just plugging along happy. So, yeah. It's definitely, if you're seeing stuff like this, you've got chamber probe problems. And, the only test we're going to really do today is we'll get the graph going here in a minute, and
yeah, Bob was showing, posted a graph of his meat probes going crazy, so we're going to try to reproduce that and see what's wrong with them, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 3 brand new Muxall Pro barbecue meat probes into all 3 of these jacks, and make sure that there is nothing wrong with the jacks. So, well, there you go. We got 70.8, 71.8, and 71.4. So, yeah, and if you're expecting them to read the same, they'll get close, but the only way you can get any kind of temperature gauge to, or to get 2 of them to read the same is to tie them together and stick them in a shoebox. That's pretty much the only way you can do it. But you can see they're pretty close, about half a degree off from each other. So I would call that good enough. And yeah, these are Class A PT100 RTDs, and they are very, very accurate. And I think it's plus or minus 0.01% accuracy or something like that. It's in a manual somewhere. So anyway, I have to be careful not to stick them into the electrical connectors. That would be very bad. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like I can go ahead and leave them in there, and we'll see if we can get something to spike. And I'll be right back. Alrighty. I got my ribs thrown on. There you go. It's got a pan of water in there. You've seen this setup 100 times, I'm sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Bob's probe on that he says spikes. So here we go. I'm gonna unplug this guy. Whoops. Yeah, my little test setup here is getting a bit worn out. So I'm gonna put the one that spikes in port 1. Okay. And he's sent me another one that says is not used in port 2. And I'm just gonna leave the brand new one in there. Oh yeah. Oops. Yeah, there's something's wrong with that probe for sure. I was looking at it. I don't know if everyone... Oh, there it goes. It's reading now. I don't know if everyone knows. So, the max temperature on the Pro probes is 500 degrees. And you can't submerge these in water. So when you wash them, you just kind of, wash the metal shaft. And, yeah, just don't submerge them. I mean, you can take a, wet rag. I usually use 409 or something to clean the cable off with when it gets really smoky. Go ahead and mess around. Oop, you guys can't see it, can you? Sorry, I'll try to do this where I can get them both in the same shot. So I'm kind of messing around. It shouldn't do anything. It shouldn't do anything in the jack. I mean, yeah, if you yank on it, it's tough. It's gonna. I mean, yeah, you don't want to damage a jack in the controller for sure. That would suck. Because these things aren't easy to change out. You can see I'm kind of moving it around, Oop. Maybe if I do it like that. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. I'm moving it around. Uh-oh. We got this one to stop. Huh. Yeah, I think I was talking to the phone. I didn't hit record, but what I was saying earlier, and hopefully I'm not repeating myself, is I got these plugs off of Amazon, and I don't know, maybe they're kind of cheap or something. I don't know. I did this test And I think I made a video doing this test, jiggling them around, and this end is kind of watertight after I glued it. You saw the video, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I don't know, I'll just replace them, which is too bad. Anyway, I'll send Bob some of these new ones here, and that should be good. But yeah, these are the same way. You can't submerge them in water, and don't even submerge these in. Just, you know, you can clean this, stick it in a coffee cup, soak it if you need to, and then I just use like 409 on the cable and a rag if they get really dirty. But yeah, so the good news is there's nothing wrong with the jacks. I was very concerned that the fire that he had damaged the jacks, and when I'm editing this video, maybe I'll see if it's going to zero, but I don't see anything. So anyway, if people have problems with these ones that I reworked, I'll just replace them for free. It doesn't look like it's... I don't know, maybe I just pulled on it too hard or something. Let's see, I'm doing the end down here now. Oops. Now, it doesn't take much if you pull this guy out a little bit. It'll go to zero. Well, now it's going to make me a liar. Oh, there it goes, yeah. Yeah, see, it didn't take much pulling out to make it go down to zero. Anyway. I think I forgot to change this back to probe 1. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, we saw that the probe was bad. Oops. Anyway, yeah, so when it jumped up to 999, I'm sure it looked something like this. I'm not sure what was going on with the spikes on his, but definitely when it was dropping down here, I mean, the spikes are, you know, if it's loose or something and it reads 999 degrees, it's of course going to shoot off the screen like that because the graph only goes up to 500. We were watching probe 2. It looks like this one was just pulling out. That one that was dropping to zero, it looks like it was just pulling out. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Like I said, I'm just going to replace it. And yeah, this is kind of jaggedy for my grill. Usually my grill is nice and smooth. But anyway, no biggie. Probably me breathing real hard on it or something. Anyway, that's about it. I just wanted everyone to see me test that. I might check back in later. I'm going to cook these for about 3.5 hours. Give Bob's controller a really good test before I send it back to him. So yeah, if I don't check back in, I'll see you guys later. Don't forget, you can support the Muxall Open IoT channel by donation using a credit card and PayPal, or by purchasing products at the Muxall store. Details and links are in the description under this video. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, that helps, and hit the subscribe button, that really helps. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments under this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.